please come to lie down on your mat, and if you need some support, and most of us do, a little bit of support underneath the head, good idea to have that. I've got a soft cushion to just lift the head a little bit so that to keep length in the back of the neck. And then just have the either the hands resting on the tummy or the arms down by your side, whichever is more comfortable for you. And then have the legs long, and don't try and correct the legs, so you just let them flop out. And however the legs are lying, please bring your attention to your right foot and begin to gently point and flex the right foot. So when you point the foot, you send the toes away from you, and when you flex the foot, you send the heel away from you as you actively draw the toes towards the head. So just gently pointing and flexing, and see if you can have in mind or separate the 5 toes in your mind's eye, so you're thinking of each toe being part of that pointing and flexing. And then pause, and please do the same with the left leg as it lies. So just gently pointing and flexing through the left foot and leg. And just a quick reminder to keep the heel all the time just slightly digging into the mat, so that the movement begins to reverberate up into the hip joint, the pelvis. You may feel this gentle little flexion and extension, or 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock going on in the pelvis and the spine. And then pause, and then begin to point and flex both feet at the same time. So both pointing and flexing at the same time, and you may feel more strongly that reverberation happening through the spine. You may feel also your head just gently nodding up and down as a result of that movement. And then see if you can make it less big but quicker. So you're just almost oscillating, pointing and flexing, keeping the heels digging in, and you'll feel hopefully that little oscillation happening all the way up through the spine. And then pause and begin to now make these circles with the big toe. So very generous circles. Not just the big toe, of course, it's the whole of the foot. Already I've heard some clicking happening in my right foot, always welcome. Making circles in one direction, and then reverse the direction of the circles. Still thinking of the big toe side of the foot leading the movement, and then transfer your attention to the little toe side of the foot, and then begin slowly at first to try and trace these circles, thinking of the little toe side of the foot leading the movement, and then reverse the direction of those circles. Now, maybe just picking up the tempo a little bit, but not to compromise the quality of the circles. And then pause, and then organise your legs so that your toes are pointing directly up towards the ceiling. Your knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. And again, just begin to point and flex both feet at the same time. So just pointing and flexing. Again, it's important you always keep the heel in contact with the mat, so you're not putting strain into the knee. And then once you've got used to that, see if again you can make it smaller but quicker. So again, this little push and pull happening through the spine, little oscillation through the spine, and then pause, and then allow the toes to fall into the midline, so the foot falls into the midline, so that the legs are actually internally rotated. And see if you can just point and flex the feet, staying with the legs slightly internally rotated. So again, just pointing and flexing. And then pause, bring your feet and knees together, so feet and knees together, and still on the centre of the back of the heel, and then point the feet as far as you possibly can, and keep them pointed, and see if you can curl up the toes towards the head and then curl the toes under. So you keep the point, the ball of the foot is still reaching away from you, but you're seeing if you can point and flex the toes. And then leave that alone and actively flex the feet. So you send the heels away from you, the feet and knees stay together, and keeping the flex in the ankle, can you again curl the toes under and then bring them towards the head. Again, as much as possible, having in mind all 10 toes, so they're sort of separate in your mind's eye, trying to create space between them. Good. And then please leave that alone and bring both feet to standing. So bend the knees and bring both feet to standing. And then bring your attention to your right knee and just do a small movement of tilting the knee a little bit to the outside and a little bit to the inside. So not a big movement, just a little bit to the inside and to the outside, so that you feel when the knee is to the inside, it's really the big toe side of the foot that's down. When you take the knee to the outside, it's the little toe side of the foot that's down. And then pause, and please do the same with the left knee. So just letting the knee drift a little bit to the outside and to the inside, just enough so that you know when the weight is in the big toe side of the foot and then the little toe side of the foot. And then pause in the centre and see if you can keep the knees pretty much still, but lift the big toe sides of the feet and then the little toe sides of the feet. So big toe sides of the feet and little toe sides of the feet, keeping the knees more or less still in space. Good. And then pause, and then imagine there is a peg between your big and second toe of the right foot. There's a peg impaled into the ground, and then lift the right heel, take it to the outside and put it down, and feel how the knee tilts to the inside. So let that happen, and then lift the heel high as you can and bring it to the inside and put it down, letting the knee tilt to the outside. So you lift the heel high, taking it to the outside and put it down, lift it high and bring it to the inside and putting it down, just letting the knee swing in the opposite direction to the one that the ankle is travelling to, the heel is travelling to. And you'll feel what's happening here, not just moving in the ankle, but of course we're internally and rotating the femur in the hip joint. Pause, come back to centre, and then put the peg in your mind's eye between the big and second toe of the left foot, lift the heel, the left heel, take it to the outside and put it all the way down, letting the knee tilt to the inside, lift the heel and bring it to the inside, letting the knee tilt to the outside. So heel to the outside, putting it down, to the inside and putting it down, just letting the knee respond like a pendulum, moving in the opposite direction to the foot. Good. And then pause, separate your feet and knees a little bit wider, so more shoulder width apart. And then think of your right knee tilting to the inside, as if that knee is going to find the floor somewhere to the inside of the left foot. And then come back to centre and allow the left knee to drift to the inside. And not just drift, actually, it's more your sensing of reaching the thigh, the knee, towards the floor, to the inside of the right foot. And then just alternate, one knee tilting to the inside and then the other. So you have this idea the knee is reaching to the floor from one to the inside, and you can allow the other knee to tilt correspondingly to the side to facilitate that. So if feel it's bringing movement into the area of the lower back and the spine. Good. And then pause, come back to centre, and then just imagine we're lying on that clock which is painted on the back of our pants again. So 12 o'clock would be towards the head. Can you press into the feet to help roll the pelvis to 12 o'clock towards the head? And then think of the feet becoming light so that you push out the tummy and that you're rolling the pelvis towards 6 o'clock towards the feet, so the tip of the tailbone moves down towards the floor. So to 12 o'clock and to 6 o'clock, to 12 o'clock, good, and to 6 o'clock, good. Now just pause for a moment and just have a quick look at the screen. So I have two foam balls, a blue one and a yellow one, and the yellow, sadly I've got a blue t-shirt, green t-shirt on. One ball represents the chest and the other represents the tummy. And when you're rolling the pelvis to 12 o'clock, see if you can also include the idea that the breastbone moves down, the chest moves down to meet, so the two balls meet when you're in 12 o'clock, and then when you release to 6 o'clock, it's as though those two balls are rolling away from each other. So in other words, we're making it a more global use of the abdominal muscles and the chest muscles. You can even have one hand on the lower tummy, one hand on the breastbone, and take a breath in, and as you breathe out and press into the feet, pulling in the tummy, think of the hand on the chest, really encouraging the ribs, the chest to be pulled down to meet the navel, and then you release. So quite often it's the ribs get very held, so we're really giving permission and encouraging those ribs to be pulled down or slide down, whichever word works for you, to meet the navel being pulled in, or the tummy, lower tummy being pulled in. And when you release the effort, you think of those two balls just rolling away from each other a little bit to gently extend the spine. Good. And then please pause. Bring your right hand behind the back of the head. Oh, looks like the decorators are next door. Right hand behind the head. Bring your right knee in towards you and put your left hand behind the back of the right thigh, behind the back of the knee. And try to keep the right knee pointing towards the ceiling. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, lift the head so the elbow moves in the direction of the knee, but you're keeping the knee vertical towards the ceiling. And then hold that, and then inhale to release. Now the idea that will help you bring the elbow towards the knee is to think of those two foam balls again. So it's chest and tummy being pulled in. So you take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, lift up, see if you can hold this position for 2 seconds, and then you release back down. So once more, take a breath in. As you exhale, lift the head so the elbow moves in the direction of the knee, but the knee doesn't move. Hold for 2 seconds, inhale to release. Got 2 more to do. Take a breath in. Exhale, lift up. Think of those two balls rolling together, so chest and ribs are being pulled down, tummy pulled in as we hold. Inhale to release, and then one more time, take a good breath in. Exhale, lift up. We're going to hold this lifted position for 2 seconds, and then we're going to release back down. Now pause, and then just change legs. So the right hand stays behind the back of the head. The left hand comes behind the left thigh, and you're trying to keep that thigh pointing towards the ceiling. Take a breath in to prepare. Think of those two balls rolling together as you lift the head, so the elbow begins to point in the direction of the knee. Hold this lifted position for 2 seconds, and then we'll inhale to release back down. Take another breath in. Exhale to lift up. Think of those balls. Give the ribs permission. Pull them down. Hold for 2 seconds. Inhale to release back down. Have 2 more to do. Take a good breath in. Exhale, lift up. See if you can hold this position for 2 seconds. Inhale to release back down. And then I think last time, maybe I've added one. Take a good breath in. Exhale to lift up. Don't let the knee come in. Think of it's your middle that you're changing. Hold and then release back down. Now I can certainly feel my tummy muscles. So please bring your right hand behind the back of the left thigh. Bring the left hand behind the back of the head. So remember, the thigh stays vertical. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lift up. That's it. And then hold this position for 2 seconds. Inhale to release back down. Got 3 more to do. Take a good breath in to prepare. Exhale to lift up. See if you can hold this and still breathe. Inhale to release back down. And 2 more. Take a breath in. Exhale to lift up. Inhale to hold for 2 seconds. Release back down. And then I think last time, take a good breath in. Exhale to lift up. Hold. Don't tense the jaw. Keep the face nice and relaxed. And then we release back down. Have 1 more to do in this blitz on the abdominals. Bring your right leg in. Put the right hand behind the back of the right thigh. Left hand stays behind the back of the head. It feels so funny to feel hair on my head. Take a good breath in. Exhale to lift up. Lift up. Inhale to hold for 2 seconds. Exhale, release back down. Take a breath in to prepare. Exhale to lift up. See if you can take a breath in without dropping the head back, and then release back down. Take another breath in. Exhale to lift up. Don't let the thigh travel in. Inhale to hold and then release back down. And we have 1 more to do. Take a good breath in. Exhale to lift up. Good. Inhale to hold and then exhale to release back down. Just release the arms down by your side and then just roll the head very lazily to one side and the other, just in case you allowed some tension to creep into the neck muscles. Good. And then pause and fix your eyes on the spot on the ceiling this time, and just gently roll the head, keeping the eyes focused on that spot on the ceiling. They're just rolling the head but keeping the eyes focused on the ceiling. Good. And then pause and then once more roll the head, letting the eyes lead the way as you explore the room around you. Now please lengthen your left leg, keep the right leg bent up, don't have it too close to the left leg, the right foot, and begin to explore. So the heel is in as close as you comfortably can get it towards the bottom, the right heel, and then begin to press into the right foot to begin to just roll the pelvis a little bit to the left, and then let the pelvis come back down. Now make sure, or try to make sure, that you're pressing more into the little toe side of that right foot and the heel as you keep the knee looking towards the ceiling. If you can manage to do that, it means you're really kind of turning the femur out. You're externally rotating it to kick in those hip muscles as you're pressing into the foot to roll the pelvis to the left. Good. And then pause again and And just again have a quick look at the screen. Many of you have seen this before, but I just want to remind you. So when we press into the foot to roll the pelvis, if you imagine a ball on your tummy, we're not trying to roll the ball off you and contract into one side, particularly into one side of the lower back. What we're trying to do is roll the ball, the imaginary ball, towards the left shoulder. And again, to facilitate that, you have to almost think of two balls again rolling on a diagonal towards each other, from left shoulder to right side of the pelvis, and vice versa. So again, in other words, include the ribs and the chest in this activity. So just again, with the arms down by your side, take a breath in. As you exhale, press into that right foot, and think of that imaginary ball. You're being very careful to roll it towards the left shoulder, and you can allow the left shoulder to come forward a little bit to meet it, and then you release the pelvis back down. So again, take a breath in. As you exhale, right side of the pelvis towards the left shoulder a little bit towards the right side of the pelvis, and then you release back down. Good. Now, pause, and then please change legs around. So it's left leg standing, right leg is long. Right. Again, careful not to have the left foot too close to the right leg, somewhere where you really feel you can solidly press down into the earth. And begin with a very small movement initially. Just test your ability to press into the foot, focusing on the outside edge and the heel, with the idea that the knee is going to lengthen away from you towards the toes, and then release back down. Now, and you'll feel, so if you visualize one of those balls on your tummy, is it going to roll off to the right? And for most people, that's what will be happening if you're anything like me, because the lower back kicks in. So to help correct that, think of the ball, two balls rolling towards each other. So you really involve the ribs. You pull the ribs down towards the mat, so that your ball is travelling towards the right shoulder and not onto the floor on the right, and then you release back down again. So again, you take a breath in. As you exhale, press into the foot, think of the knee lengthening away from you, so that you're controlling what happens in your middle and your back, and then you release back down. And let's do two more like that. So you take a breath in, exhale, so you soften the ribs, you can engage the ribs, so the shoulder and the pelvis are coming towards each other, and then one more time like that. Good. And then release. Please bring both legs to standing, and cross your right leg over the left. The right leg over the left. And imagine, again, you have got one of those foam balls on your lower tummy, one on in your chest. Take a breath in and roll those two balls towards each other. So in other words, your ribs get connected to your tummy to the ribs, and your back is down into the floor. And the challenge here is to keep that connection as you breathe, and then as you begin to tilt the knees to the right, and then come back to center. So don't let your ribs pop forward, don't let the tummy pop forward. Can you keep that sense of those two foam balls meeting? And it will get more challenging the further the knees tilt, but if you keep the connection, it means we're strengthening those abdominal muscles under load, under load as the knees tilt to the right. So it's not necessarily, well, it isn't at all about how far the knees go. It's like we're putting a dumbbell on those abdominals if we can keep the connection. Good. Now begin to tilt the head and eyes as you think about all that in the opposite direction to the knees, and then come back to centre. So knees to the right, head and eyes to the left. So you really have to work to keep those ribs in, and one more time, knees to the left, head and eyes to the right, knees to the right, head and eyes to the left, and then come back to centre. Now pause in the middle, change the cross of the legs. So left is crossed over right. Take a breath in first to kind of refresh everything. And as you exhale again, before you tilt the knees, think of your two imaginary foam balls rolling together. So tummy, ribs, everything is connected. And the challenge is to keep that sense of connection as you begin to test your ability to tilt the knees to the left. Exhale, come back to centre. So again, knees begin to tilt to the left. Can you keep the connection in the middle? Exhale, come back to centre. Let's do one more like that. Knees to the left. Exhale, come back to centre. And now begin to roll the head and eyes in the opposite direction to the knees. And come back to centre. So your right shoulder should stay down ideally all the time as you explore your ability to tilt the knees. So if you feel that right shoulder becoming light, that's the point where you should go no further with the knees. Good. Let's just do one more. Inhaling, tilting the knees to the left, head and eyes to the right, and then come back to centre. Good. Please uncross the legs, and then bring both legs in towards you and wrap your left forearm behind the backs of the knees, behind the backs of the thighs. Bring your right hand behind the back of the head and think that your feet are resting against a wall. Take a breath in. As you exhale, again, lift the head to look at the tummy as you slide the feet up the imaginary wall. Inhale to release back down. So we're back to your two foam balls again in the tummy and the chest. So you take a breath in, exhale, you think of those two balls meeting in the middle and helping to release your mid back down. Inhale to release, and then one more time, take a breath in, exhale, lift up, hold this position for 2 seconds, release back down. Actually, we better do one more, sorry about that. Take a breath in, exhale, lift up, hold the lifted position, inhale to release back down. Now pause and just change the arms around. So it's the right forearm behind the backs of the knees. The left hand comes behind the back of the head. Take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, look at the tummy, not at the knees, as you lift up, sliding your feet up an imaginary wall. Hold the position, and then you inhale to release back down. 3 more to go. Take a breath in. Exhale, lift up, look at the tummy, remember, not at the knees. As you slide the feet up the wall, inhale to come back down. Last 2, take a breath in, exhale, those two foam balls are rolling together to bring your middle abdominals into connection, your middle back into the floor, release back down. And then last time, take a good breath in. As you exhale, lift up, hold the lifted position, and then release back down. Oh, tummy muscles. We're getting ready for the summer. Spring and the summer. Good. Just let the legs come down, arms down by side, and then please roll to the side and come up onto all fours for some cat stretches. So again, the standard position, as you know, is knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. If your wrists are problematic, you can have roll up the end of the mat, if you've got one of those mats, to have the rolled up bit underneath the heel of that hand, or you can do it on the knuckles, the whole thing. That's absolutely fine. Have your hands on the, otherwise have the palms flat, knees underneath the hips. And again, just take a moment to look at the screen here. So this tabletop position, if you're just look at the screen, see what often happens when people come into the tabletop position, it's as if those balls are being just dumped on the floor. So this kind of neutral position is actually you're keeping them slightly connected. The ribs are in, so it's not this. So the ribs are in, and then you take a breath in to prepare, push down through the arms, try and broaden the shoulder blades, pulling those two balls together as you release the head. So you round the back up towards the ceiling. Inhale, and then exhale, reverse, not by dropping the balls, but by thinking of them rolling away from each other, one towards the breastbone and one between the thighs. So take a breath in. As you exhale, round up, press through the little finger sides of the palms as you're reaching the arms in towards the ceiling. Inhale, and then exhale again. Reverse into a gentle extension, but don't just dump your middle towards the floor. And then one more time, take a breath in, exhale, round up. Good. Inhale, and then exhale to reverse. Now please come down onto the forearms, so elbows underneath the shoulders, not out to the side, just to protect your shoulders, and knees once more underneath the hips, and take a breath in, and as you exhale in, round the back up. So again, think of those two balls, you're really pulling in the ribs to round the back as you release the head to look between the knees. Inhale, and then exhale again. Think the pubic bone is travelling away from the breastbone. We're not just dropping. And two more. Take a breath in. As you exhale again, round the back. Push through the forearms. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, and then exhale, reverse. Good. And then last time, take a good breath in. Exhale, round up, release the head. Inhale, and then reverse. Please come back onto your all fours position. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, so you begin to round back, pull in the ribs as you sit the bottom back towards the heels, and then begin to look forward, so you release the pubic bone away from the breastbone. So that looking forward actually starts in the pelvis to come forward onto all fours. Take a breath in. As you exhale, round the back, keep those two balls have rolled together, begin to look forward from the tailbone, lifting slightly to come back onto all fours. Now stay looking forward this time, and just sit the bottom back towards the heels. Good. And then come forward again. And then once more, just sit the bottom back towards the heels, just looking forward if possible, and then come forward. And then this time, shift the pelvis back towards the right heel, and then come forward, and then shift the pelvis back towards the left heel, and then come forward. And then shift the pelvis back towards the right heel, and just see if you can stay there, and imagine you're polishing that heel, the right heel, with the right buttock. So just wiggling the bum a little bit from side to side, and then come forward, and then shift the pelvis back towards the left heel, and then again just see if you can polish that heel with the left buttock, and then come forward. And then shift the pelvis once more back towards the right heel as you slide the left leg away from you. So you're just kind of hovering the pelvis above the right heel, come forward again, and then shift the pelvis back towards the left heel as you slide the right leg away from you, and then come forward. And then once more, shift the pelvis back towards the right heel as you slide the left leg away from you. And then probably just walk the hands in a little bit towards you just to help support you. And just see if you can wiggle the pelvis towards the floor to the other side of the right heel and bring it back up. So again, if you can see me on the screen, see as my pelvis is going down, my shoulders are turning, my head is turning, there's a big side bending going on in those ribs on the left hand side to facilitate that, and then come back up. Come back onto all fours, and then see, can you take the pelvis back towards the left heel, letting the right leg slide away from you. Again, walk the hands in as much as you need to support you. And just see, again, if you don't get anywhere near the floor, it's absolutely fine. Just check that you're breathing. So it requires the back of the knee to soften, the hip joint to soften, the ribs to soften, to facilitate just seeing if you can find the floor, and then come back. Good. Come back onto all fours, and then just curl the toes under and see if you can walk back to sit on the heels. Get that strong stretch of the plantar side of the toes. Just bring the hands forward and just shake the wrists a little bit, the hands, just lightly, just to relieve any pressure. Good. And then bring the hands down, point the feet, see if you can sit back on the heels. Good. And then just see if you can wiggle the fingers, so like curling the fingers, again just give the wrists a little bit of a shake. Good. And then bring the hands down and see if you can have the fingers facing back as you begin just to bring the weight into the heel of the hand. Good. And then come back. Good. And again just allowing the weight to come into the heel of the hand. Good. Now curl the toes under, and again just see if you can sit back on the heels, and again just give the wrists, the hands, the arms a little bit of a shake. Good. And then pause, bring the fingers to face each other, softening the elbows a little bit. So just fingers are facing each other, the elbows are slightly soft. Take a breath in. As you exhale, see if you can slide the back of the right hand away from you to the left to bring that shoulder down, looking towards the ceiling. Inhale and exhale to come back. And then to the other side, so you take a breath in. As you exhale, reach the left arm away from you. Good. Inhale and exhale, come back. Let's just do one more like that. So you take a breath in either side, reaching that. So you're reaching for the lost Malteser underneath the settee. Inhale and then exhale, come back. And then last time, take a breath in. As you exhale, reach the left hand away from you. Inhale and then exhale, come back. Didn't mean to advertise anything there. Good. And then release. Now please come. Well actually, just before you do, just again have a look at the screen for a moment, and I just want to So we're going to do the pelvic tilt exercise. Okay. It's always just good sometimes to remind you. So the pelvic lifting is when we press into the feet to peel up. Now, what often happens in this is that people turn it into a bridge, so that they suddenly go into a big back bend, and it's a lot of strain in the back. So again, one thing I find helpful is to imagine, again, this exercise is not just about the pelvis, it's actually even before the pelvis lifts up. It's the ribs are being pulled in, and then you peel up. You hold that as you breathe in, and then you slowly come back down, and then you release. So it's not coming up and taking a breath in like that. It's you keep it as you come back down, and then you release. So again, it's tummy work to help lengthen the back muscles. So have the arms just down by your side, palms facing down towards the floor. Make sure your feet or knees are a good distance apart. Think about how you're using the feet again. Take a breath in. As you exhale, press into the feet. Think your knees are going to lengthen away from you. But before you do anything else, think of those two balls rolling towards each other. And you see if you can keep that as you're peeling up the spine. You try and keep that contracted position in the front as you breathe in. And you keep the position as you peel back down. And when you've landed, then you release the effort in the front. Okay? So you take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, think of those two balls rolling together. So you contract in the middle first. You're working your flexor muscles. Then you continue to press into the feet to begin to roll up the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. You keep that connected position as you breathe in, and you keep the connected position as you peel back down to land, and then you release the effort. So let's just do one more plain version, as it were. So you take a breath in, connect first as you begin to press into the feet. Think of the thighs lengthening towards the toes as you peel up. You keep the idea of those two balls are together as you breathe in. You keep the idea of the two balls together as you peel back down, and then you release, Just going to challenge that a little bit more now by having the arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other, shoulders down. Take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, connect first, peel up. Keep the connection as you breathe in, keeping the hands and the wrists soft. Keep the connection as you peel back down. Then you release into neutral. Again, take a breath in, connect first, peel up, Inhale, keeping the connection. Don't go into a sudden back bend. Keep the connection as you peel back down, and then release into neutral. Just bring the arms back down by the side, and then please take hold of one of your bands. Or your band, not one of them, but the band. So I'm using a green band. I like to use the ones with handles for this work. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit of support behind the back of my head. And then fold in your right leg towards you and put the band around the sole or the ball of the right foot. And then you cross the handles, say into the opposite hand. And then just be careful. So I have my elbows down on the floor beside me, and my hands are pointing up towards the ceiling. But if you're using that position, you just really have to be careful that you're not letting the wrists flop around. You have to keep the wrists connected and stable. If that's difficult for you, you can always have the hands sort of resting more towards the chest. Now, okay, before we do anything, you see, take a breath in and connect your middle. Think of those two balls rolling together. So you're really stabilising your back into the mat. This is as much an exercise for your tummy muscles, your centre, as it is about the hip and the leg. And again, the challenge now is to keep that very strong connection in your middle as you just reach the leg away from you on a diagonal, and then you inhale to fold it in. Even though I'm not mentioning it all the time, the middle is probably much more important than what we're doing with the leg. Exhale, press the leg away. Inhale to fold it in. Exhale, press it away. Careful not to snap into the knee. into the knee. Inhale with control to fold it in. Exhale, press it away. Inhale with control, so you're not just dropping the knee in, fold it in. Exhale, press it away. Inhale to fold it in. Now pause, lengthen the leg up towards the ceiling and just reach it long and low towards the floor but not to touch. So you again, just pausing there, can you feel the work in the middle to keep the connection? Inhale, fold the leg in, up towards the ceiling long. Exhale, long and low towards the floor but not to touch. Inhale to fold it in, up towards the ceiling long, then reach it long and low but not to touch. Inhale to fold it in, up towards the ceiling, long and low. Inhale to fold it in. Now reverse that, so you scoop the leg down and out, watch the connection in the middle, let the leg go long up towards the ceiling, and then fold it in towards you. Scoop down and out, long and low, up towards the ceiling, get that lovely hamstring stretch, fold it in towards you, scoop down and out, be careful of the ribs as you do that, of the wrists as you do that, long up towards the ceiling and fold it in, scoop down and out, long up towards the ceiling and fold it in. One more time, scoop down and out, long up towards the ceiling, and then keep the leg long this time and see if you can go straight down, long but not to touch, come straight back up, scoop, reach down long and low, come straight back up. The leg is in parallel as we do this. Again, just a quick reminder, it's much more, are you keeping the connection in your centre? So your back is really as though it's set into the floor, and if you do that, then we get this lovely separation of the leg, the kind of movement in the hip joint, as opposed to it being in the back. Now pause at the top, turn the leg out a little bit from the hip, so just slight turn out, go straight down and come straight back up. Inhale down. Exhale down, inhale up, exhale, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up. Now alternate, bring the leg into parallel, go straight down and come back up, turn out and go down and come back up. Parallel to go down and up, turn out to go down and up. One more time, parallel down, come back up, turn out down and come back up. Now hold the leg towards the ceiling to get that lovely hamstring stretch. Try and keep the leg straight. Now if possible, you can keep the hands resting on the chest for this, but otherwise, to make it stronger, you take the arms out to the side, you turn the palms down to try and keep the handles into the floor, but slightly lower than the line of the shoulder. So again, keep the connection of your middle, and then if possible, let your left leg go long, but not if it compromises the connection in the middle. It's much more work on the middle. And then just tick-tock your right leg a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. But don't let your middle move. Don't let the middle rock from side to side. Keep your centre connected as you're tick-tocking the leg right and left. And then see if you can turn it into a circle. So if you're tracing a circle on the ceiling with the second toe of the right foot, but the back is staying down, and then just reverse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the position and then release, and then change legs around so it's the left foot for me in the band, right foot is down, and start with the knee, thigh drawn in towards you. And again, before you do anything, take a breath in, and again think of your middle, you're connecting it. Those two foam balls, we've rolled them in towards each other. And then exhale, just press the leg away on a diagonal. With control, let it come back in. Exhale, press it away without snapping into the knee. Inhale to fold it in. Exhale away. Inhale to fold it in. 2 more to do. Exhale away. Inhale to fold it in. And then last time away. Now fold it in towards you. Allow the leg to go long up towards the ceiling. Feel like, oh, lovely first hamstring challenge. Let the leg go down long and low towards the floor, but keep the connection in the middle, and then fold it in towards you. Long up towards the ceiling, then long and low towards the floor. Fold it in towards you. Long up towards the ceiling, long and low towards the floor. Keep the middle and the wrists strong. Once more, long up towards the ceiling, long and low towards the floor, and fold it in. And then let's reverse this. So you scoop down and out, let the leg go long up towards the ceiling, fold it in towards you, scoop, excuse me, scoop down and out, let it go long up towards the ceiling and fold it in, scoop down, long up towards the ceiling and fold it in. 2 more to do. Scoop down and out, long up towards the ceiling and fold it in. Last time, scoop down and out, long up towards the ceiling. Hold it long up towards the ceiling in parallel, and then go straight down but not to touch. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up. Keep the middle connected as you go down, keep the middle connected as you come back up. Exhale down, inhale up, 2 more down, inhale up, last one down, inhale up. Now pause at the top, turn the leg out slightly in the hip and go straight down, inhale up. Exhale down with control, not just dropping into gravity. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up. 2 more, inhale up, last time, inhale up. Now pause at the top, come into parallel, go down in parallel, come up in parallel, turn out, go down, come up, parallel again, down and up. Turn out, down and up. Last time, parallel, down and up. Turn out, down and up. Come back up into parallel. If you can, take the arms wide, otherwise keep them on the chest. And then, if possible, but again, not if it compromises that connection in the middle, lengthen your right leg. And then begin to tick-tock the leg, left and right. but try not to focus on the leg. Have the focus much more on your middle. So again, not rocking from side to side, the leg goes from side to side, but you are staying connected in the centre. Begin to turn this into a circle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse the direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the position. Good. And then release. Just let the band go to one side. Bring the knees down. Good. And then please roll to the side. Come up onto all fours. Curl your toes under. Walk the hands back towards the knees. Allow the head to come down. Lift the knees and the bottom to bring the heels down. Keep the head released as you press down into the heels to gently roll up through the spine to come up to standing. So, and in standing, you'll be absolutely sick of these two balls by the time the lesson is finished. Again, just stand, try and feel 80% of your weight into your heels. So you don't want this to be happening, don't want this to be happening. So think of a slight connection, so you're not, so your front is connected, 80% of the weight into the heels, and then see if you can sweep your left arm in front of the body and reach it behind you, following with the head and eyes. 2 more to do, inhaling up and exhaling down, and then 1 more time. So again, try to keep the connection as you're reaching round, and then the other side, so inhaling up and exhaling down. 2 more to do, inhaling and exhaling, and then last time inhaling, good, and then release. And then see if you can bring both arms forward. So as you're reaching the arms up, you're trying to keep that connection as you reach the arms wide. 2 more to do, keep the connection as you reach the arms wide, and then last time inhaling and release, and then give yourself a clap. Thank you very much, everyone. Tummy muscles been working today, and see you next week.